Hey loves, what's poppin'? This is me, Keisha, and I am here to give you all the update I've been telling you about my cancer journey. So 2 weeks ago, I came to you all with a battling breast cancer vlog, and in it, I stated that I was told that I needed chemo. Okay, so let me tell you everything that has gone down. So before that appointment, I had went to go see my breast cancer doctor, and she informed me that I would be going to see an oncologist to confirm whether or not I will need chemo. But based upon my Oncotype score, which was low, she didn't feel it would be necessary for me to have chemo. Now, let me tell you what an Oncotype score is. So, an Oncotype score is the test gives a score known as a recurrence score from 0 to 100. The higher the score, the more likely breast cancer is to come back, and the more likely you are to benefit from having chemotherapy as well as hormone therapy. Okay, so an Oncotype score that ranges in the 1 to 15 bracket means that it's very low chances that this cancer will come back. 16 to 25, you're in that mid area where it's more likely for it to return. And then 26, 55, and up, it's really high that this cancer will return. So she was like, it doesn't seem like yours is going to come back. So she was like, but you still have to go to oncologist, so you could talk to him. So she set up me an appointment with an oncologist, and I went that Monday, which was 2 weeks ago, to see him. Me and my brother had went, and he checked my breast or whatever to see how I was healing, got back dressed. He came back in and he sat down and he started talking to me about chemo. And soon as he got to talk to me about chemo, I'm looking like, why is this man talking to me about chemo when my other doctors already said I shouldn't need chemo? I should just be doing radiation and then, being on some form of a medication for the next 5 to 10 years. So he got to talking about chemo, and he sat there and talked about chemo for maybe about a good 20, 25 minutes, and this, that, and the third. And he was talking about my Oncotype score. He showed me my paperwork. My Oncotype score was 15, you guys. So I'm in the low range of my cancer coming back. So I'm like, if I scored 15, then why is he talking to me about chemo? So in the conversation, he was basically saying, since you were at a 15, basically, since I'm right there next to a 16, that it looks like it'll be safer than sorry for me to have chemo, because just in case any cancer cells roam throughout my body or escape that area, they just want to kill everything or whatever. So he's talking to me like this is the next step of what I need to do. So I'm sitting there like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, because I'm just knowing that I don't need to have cancer, and this man is telling me chemo, and I'm like, this man is sitting here telling me I have to have chemo now. So I'm just sitting here in a whirlwind. I want to cry, but I'm holding it in. You know that cry where you just trying to hold it in or whatever. My brother is sitting there listening to everything this man's saying. My brother didn't say anything or whatever. He was just listening, because of course this is, my life, whatever. So he was like, does that sound good? And I was like, yeah, if that's what we got to do, let's get it going. So he was like, okay, we're going to set you up to come back to do the chemo education class. What was that? Next week. And then after that, that same week we'll set you up to get the port placement, which is when they place the little port in your chest, so when you do chemotherapy it can go directly into your veins or whatever. And then the following Monday, which would have been the 25th, October 25th, we'll start your first treatment. So I was like, okay, I'm in the days that whole day. I'm just in a daze. I want to cry. I end up going out to lunch with my brother and my aunt. They were trying to cheer me up the best that they could. But, I'm just like, I can't believe that I have to have chemo. So, I came home that day. I boohoo cried all that day. You all saw it on the last vlog, a snippet of me crying. I informed my family. I informed my father. My father boohoo cried because his ex-wife had cancer and she had to go through chemo. So he knows what it's like to go through chemo. Mind you, my grandmother on my mom's side of the family had ovarian cancer and she had to go through chemo. And I was 13 when she was going through it. So I remember her laying in the bed moaning, groaning, having to have a portable toilet next to her bed because she couldn't make it to the bathroom to use the bathroom, throwing up, being sick, having to drink Ensures and all of this stuff. Now, mind you, this was in the 90s, but still, I saw how it affected you. So I'm like, Lord, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this. So for 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, I just boohoo cried, boohoo cried. Then after that, I was like, okay, fuck that. Crying is over. You got to wrap your head around this. This is happening. If you need to do this, this is what you have to do to get, yourself healthy. So the oncologist informed me that I will be doing 4 rounds of chemo every 3 weeks. And so the first treatment would start on October 25th, and then 3 weeks after that, it'll be another treatment, and so on. So it'll basically would have been once every month. So I was like, okay, I can get through 4 rounds of this. I can get through that. Boom. Then, they was like, he was like, you'll take a month off and then you'll start your radiation. And then we'll put you on some form of anti-estrogen because I found out that my cancer feeds off estrogen. I don't need no more estrogen in my body. So I'm like, all right, this pushes back everything that I have planned. I already missed the filming of my film. So I'm like, fuck. Now when it comes time for my premiere, will my hair have been gone by then? Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm getting ready to write my next book, start my next script, prepare for my next film. Like, this pushes everything back. I'm like, oh my God. But I'm like, okay, now it's time to fight. Now it's time to get in the game. Because, I refuse to let myself just stay down for too long. I'm a strong person, strong-minded, strong-willed. I got to do what I got to do to live. And I trust in God that he's going to protect me. So that week, I'm buying products all on Amazon of things that I'm going to need for chemo. I'm buying ice packs for my hand, neuropathy gloves, because, when you go through chemo, your fingers go numb and start to tingle and have pain in them. I'm buying, a neck pillow for the chemo treatments while I'm in there. I'm buying books and things to read, socks, blankets, all of these things, ginger gum or whatever to help with nausea wristbands. I spent like almost $300 something y'all on Amazon for chemo, things that I would need for chemo. So I'm getting there. All this stuff has came. It's here. Now I have to ship it back. Mind you, I had already bought the stuff that I'll need for radiation, which was another almost $200 and something that I spent. So I've spent about $500 on chemo things, products that will help me through this process. So this past Sunday, not today, but the past Sunday, I'm sitting in the bed and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and it just hit my spirit. And I know this ain't nothing but God. And I'm like, why would he suggest that I do chemo if my Oncotype score was 15? So I got to going online and doing research, and it was saying that a person, let me find the exact terms. So this is for a person like me. Oncotype DX score is 15 or less and lymph node negative. Mind you, I'm lymph node negative. They didn't find any cancer in my lymph node. So for premenopausal women with lymph node negative breast cancer, I'm premenopausal because I had a partial hysterectomy. If the Oncotype DX score is less than 15, it's unlikely chemotherapy would add much benefit to treatment. So use of hormone therapy alone is recommended, which will be the medication that I'll be placed on after radiation. So I'm reading this, going on cancer.org, American Cancer Society, reading all of these things about stage 1 invasive carcinoma, ductal carcinoma, whatever breast cancer that I got or whatever. I'm stage 1, lymph node negative, BRCA gene is 0, Oncotype score 15. Like, I'm HER2 negative, 100% estrogen, 100% progesterone or whatever. So I'm like, why would he suggest that I, do chemo? Why is he telling me I need to do chemo? So I had to go to the cancer education class. So me and Kyrese went to go to the cancer education class, and they had scheduled me for 3 o'clock. When I sat down with the receptionist to schedule that appointment, she was like, at 3 o'clock good for you? I was like, yeah. So then when she ran it back, she was like 2:20. And I was like, no, you said 3 o'clock. She was like, oh yeah, you're right. Let me fix that. So me and Kyrese went to the chemo education class. We're on our way there. I get a phone call at around 2:40 something saying, Miss Irvin, are you still coming? I was like, yeah, like my appointment is at 3 o'clock. I'm on my way now. And they were like, oh, we had you down for 2:20. I was like, no, no, no. The young lady that, booked my time, she messed up. So I relayed the story. I was like, but I'm literally on my way. They were like, okay. I get there. I go to the back, and then they tell me, "Sorry, Mister, we're not going to be able to see you for the chemo education class because the nurse that runs it is already in another class with somebody else, so we're going to have to reschedule you." I'm like, "Ain't this about a bitch?" I'm like, "Fuck." All right, I was like, "Okay." So we had rescheduled it that Monday for me to come back that Wednesday. So that was a waste of a trip. And I had to go to the doctor the next day to see my breast cancer doctor, and I had to go see my radiation oncologist to have my consultation with him. So that Tuesday, I went to go see my breast cancer doctor so she could check my breast, see how I'm healing and everything. And let me rewind back. I forgot a integral part of the story. So that Sunday night before I went to had to go to the breast cancer the chemo education class, and I was doing all this research, and I'm like, I don't need chemo. I reached out to my breast cancer doctor and sent her a message telling her, I'm concerned about this. I would like to speak to you about it. So on the way home from me and Kyrie's going to get sushi after the chemo education class was canceled, my doctor called me, and she was like, "I got your message on your my chart." She was like, "I too was very shocked that he suggested that you needed chemo because of your Oncotype score. That's the reason why we do it, to ensure that you do or do not need chemo." So she was like, "I myself was very shocked by this." She was like, "I don't think you need chemo." She was like, "But this is why we send you to an oncologist." She was like, and in his report, he said that this was a decision that you two came up with together. I was like, absolutely not. We didn't come up with it together. He told me he felt like this was the next best step for me because of A, B, C, and D. And all I said was, okay, because I'm listening to my doctor. And so right there, that was another red flag for me because I'm like, he lied. We didn't come up with this together. He told me what he felt, and I said, okay, because I'm listening to the doctor. You know more about this than I do. So she was like, well, what I would suggest to you is that you reach out to him to see once again why did he come up to this conclusion, and then maybe try to go from there, or you can seek a second opinion. She was like, because of course I can't tell you what you should or should not do, but by the tone of her voice, you guys, I knew that she was like, nah, this nigga tripping, but she didn't want to go against another doctor, or whatever. She was trying to be politically correct. So I was like, okay, I will. So I reached out to the doctor and I sent him a message basically, saying, I didn't understand why he had suggested that I needed chemotherapy. This is what I sent. I said, hey, Dr. Blank, this is Keisha Irvin. Before I move forward with the suggested chemo treatments, I would like to further discuss how the decision was made. After reading over my reports and speaking with Dr. Blank, I don't fully understand why you feel chemo is necessary. Can you please give me a call at your earliest convenience so we can discuss? Okay. So after I spoke to my breast cancer doctor, I get a response back from the oncologist. And so it was his RN nurse, some bitch named Terry. And she responds and says, hello, Keisha, Dr. Blank, doing your last appointment. No, I'm going to say this nigga name just so anybody in the St. Louis area go see this oncologist. Dr. Sen, Sen. Dr. Sen, during your last appointment on 10/11/21, explained your diagnosis, imaging, pathology reports. You and your brother made a decision to proceed with adjuvant chemotherapy based on your discussion with him. Just because you had a conversation does not mean you have to have chemo. I urge you to come to chemo education on 10/20/21 and speak with our nurse practitioner and ask all your questions. Write them down beforehand. Your brother may come also. Blank can go over everything with you so you can make an informed decision that is right for you based on the provider's knowledge of the cancer you have and how best to treat it. Please let me know if this helps. Well, first of all, bitch, y'all, it took me so much not to cuss this bitch out because, first of all, I don't know if this was the message that he relayed to her to tell me or she going off what was read in the report. But I'm like, first of all, me and my brother didn't come up with no goddamn conclusion or decision with this man. My brother didn't say shit because this ain't his goddamn body, first of all. Second of all, this man told me what needed to be done. And I just said, okay, I agree because he's telling me that you need chemo. So I'm like, okay, I need chemo. So I'm like, oh, no. Based off the way she responded, I really was done. It was a wrap for me after that. I was like, oh, no. I responded back and said, thank you all for your services. You can cancel all of my appointments moving forward. I'm seeking a second opinion because y'all got me fucked up. So the next day when I had to go see my breast cancer doctor, I read her the message and she was like, yeah. She was like, if you want, you can seek a second opinion because based off all of your paperwork, I don't think that you need chemo. So she referred me to a different oncologist. I set up the appointment to go see him the following day, which was that Wednesday. And like I said, y'all, everything happened for a reason. It was a reason why I missed that chemo education class. Everything happened for a reason. So the next day, me and my dad went to go see the new oncologist. And y'all, this man sat down and talked to me and my dad for a good hour, going over everything. Now, mind you, I done did my research. I'm hip to the game now. I know all the medical terminology, everything. I went on YouTube, looked at all these different physicians' videos about stage 1 breast cancer, Oncotype scores, all of this stuff, treatments, everything. So when he was sitting down talking to me, I'm knowing he not bullshitting because he's telling me everything that I've already done research on. And he was very impressed by me, by the way, because I knew my shit. But he was like, yeah, based off your Oncotype score, chemo for a person like you would probably do more harm than good. And you're in the 4 percentile of this cancer coming back. So if you did chemo, it would only give you a 1% chance of no recurrence. The risk doesn't outweigh the reward. So I was like, okay, I knew I wasn't crazy. He was like, yeah, you don't need chemo. No, you need to do your rounds of radiation. And then I'm going to place you on an anti-blocker medication, anti-estrogen blocker medication. We'll decide whether it needs to be 5 or 10 years or whatever, so we can make sure and try our best for this not to come back. He was like, but to be honest with you, you can do chemo, you could do radiation, you could take all the pills in the world. If your cancer wants to come back, it's going to fucking come back because they don't have a cure yet. They don't have a cure for this. He was like, so it can still come back if it chooses to. But we're going to try to do everything to make sure that it doesn't. So y'all, I was so relieved, baby. When I left that man's office, I was if security saw me on the cameras, I was in the hall like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. It took me everything in the world not to shout. I was so happy that I listened to my God spirit, God having me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like, girl, that ain't right. That ain't right. So always trust your gut, you guys. Listen to that God voice, your conscience in you when something ain't right and it's troubling your spirit. I'm so happy that I listened, because if I would have listened to that first oncologist, my ass would have a port in my chest right now and would have been starting my first chemo session tomorrow. And I didn't even need that shit. And when you do a port placement, that's a whole nother surgery. You're awake when they do it, but that's a whole nother surgery, y'all. Like, I done been through enough at this point. I have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major surgeries in my 40 years on this earth. I don't want no more surgeries, y'all. No. So I'm just so thankful and grateful to God that He steered me in the right direction, and for this new oncologist to come on board, I really love him. He was so just in tune. He just told me all the information. He was so cool, so relatable, and he was honest. Honest. He didn't try to gloat and make himself look better, or he was just keeping it real. And I really appreciated that. His name is Dr. Palat. Um, and he is here in St. Louis, and he's not an affiliate of St. Mary's Hospital, because that's where I'm going right now for my treatments and everything, but he's a private doctor in that building. So if you are in the St. Louis area or Missouri area, you're looking for an oncologist, Dr. Palat is A1. Dr. Sin, don't fuck with him, because he gonna have your ass over there trying to do shit on your ass that don't need to be done. So I'm like, was this a money grab for him? Because he wasn't my color. He was like, I don't know if he was like Indian, Arabic, but he was other Filipino. I don't know, but he wasn't white and he wasn't black. But I'm like, was this a money grab? Because it's guaranteed insurance with me. Is this some shit where you just want to experiment? Because you got to be real cautious with these doctors, especially when you are black and a black woman at that, because it's been so many cases of black women being fucked over, dying on the table, not listened to. So you got to be real careful, and especially with dealing with these male doctors, because they're so egotistical. You got to do your research, y'all. You just can't listen to everything that they tell you. Do your research and learn everything that you need to learn. I'm so happy that I did, because I would have been getting an unnecessary treatment that I did not need. So as of right now, my breasts are still healing. My scars and everything have fully healed. Now my areola part just has to heal. Let me show you my boobs, you guys, because they're so much smaller. These are my new boobs. They're so small compared to the way they used to be. Look at it. Boop. So small. Remember my teeth used to be out here. I got on my little sports bra. I still have to sleep in my sports bra. Let me show you guys. I still got my pads on underneath or whatever, but these are the titties. These are the titties. They're so much smaller and I love them. I still have to sleep in my sports bras every night because I have to have, the padding over my areola. So still can't sleep on my stomach, still sleeping on my back or whatever. It's starting to irk me, but I'm making it do what it do. They want to wait 2 more weeks before I start radiation to give my areola part time to heal some more. So I'll be doing 35 rounds of chemo. So that'll be 1 round of chemo a day, Monday through Friday, for 6 weeks. So I should be done with radiation by the end of December. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Then I'll be put on medication and I can ring this bell and move on with my life. I've lost 20 pounds. So excited, so happy. I'm going to continue on my weight loss journey. I'm actually going to start back exercising tomorrow. I'm changing the way that I eat. I've read everything, you guys, so you don't have to give me any suggestions on what I should be doing. I thank you for them, but yeah, I've read everything. I'm doing what needs to be done on my end. Trust and believe. This has been a wake-up call, and it has brought me truly closer to God and made me cry out for him in ways that I have never. This has been one of the scariest experiences of my life, but God has been my best friend, my father, my supporter, my protector, my shield, my everything. He has been the main person by my side outside of my family and my friends. And one of the hardest things that has been going on for me, and I haven't spoken to you all about it, is that me and my mom aren't speaking right now. My mother has not been there for me during this time, and it's been really tough. That's been one of the hardest things for me to deal with, outside of just dealing with having breast cancer. So I'm dealing with that. I'm praying on it, but right now I just feel like it's best for me to remove myself, because even with family, like I've told y'all, family can hurt you more than anybody. And to have my mother not be there for me during cancer has blown me away. She has not came to see me. She did not call me, anything. It's the most bizarre, craziest shit ever. If you would have told me when I was a little girl, or whenever that you'll get breast cancer and your mother won't call you, come see you, won't do nothing, I would have laughed in your face and called you a fucking liar. But that's what's happened. But on the upside of it, my father has been by my side 100%, been my rock, my brother, Kyrese, my best friends, Alosha and Monique, and Sheridan and Sharita, and all of my new reader friends that I work with, Tasia, Bianca, Kasana, Vita, people that I've went to school with, people that don't even know me have reached out, people with the film and everything. I've just had such an immense amount of support. You guys, all of you guys praying for me and just sending me words of encouragement have really helped me, because it's been really hard dealing with this without my mother and her not being there for me. But this was just a wake up call for sometimes you got to see people for who they are. Um, and you have to put your foot down and say enough is enough. And you can't allow people to treat you any kind of way or use you when it's beneficial for them. So I pray for her. I pray that God heals in her what needs to be healed, because I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else can. So that's been hard and tough, but I'm getting through it, as you can see, with a smile on my face. And I'm determined to keep a smile on my face, because I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm going to be healthy and well. I will be cancer free, and God will get all the glory. God will get all of the glory. He is getting all the glory, because without him, I would not be here. I would not be here. Without him, I would have gone crazy. Without him, I would have been depressed. Without him, I would have given up. But God gave me all of the strength that I need to push forward and not to give up, and not to let people or circumstances or this cancer inside of me hinder me and stop me. Nothing will stop me, especially with God by my side. So that's my update, you guys. I love you so much, so very, very much. My movie Paper Heart will be out December 4th. We're having, well, not out December 4th, but we'll be having the St. Louis premiere December 4th. Tickets will be on sale very soon. So if you're in the area, if you can come down, I want you guys to come down and support, so I can meet you in person, so you can see the movie. I'm so excited, you guys. I'll be able to go. I got my outfit. I'm so excited. Oh God, it's going to be so fabulous. The cast will be there. I'm so excited, you guys. So big things are on the horizon, on the way. Cancer ain't gonna stop you, girl. It is not. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you do self checks, men and women. And if you're the age of 40 or over, please go get a mammogram done. It will help you. It will save your life. Love you guys so much. Bye.